What is up, people? DNC Day 2, and today was the big day. Today was the day that made all the right-wingers go nuts. That's right, the Obamas. Michelle and Barack both spoke. Totally worth the watch. I just put together a collection of some of the highlights and some commentary because both Michelle and Barack brought up some really good points. One, they talked about the things we need to do to beat Trump in November. Two, they talked a lot about what it's going to look like after Trumpism. Once we kick Trump to the curb, how do we bring everybody together? Trump has definitely ruined the political discourse, and we got a lot of work ahead of us to heal the damage that he's caused. And three, they continued the DNC-wide message that is the core of Kamala Harris and Tim Walz's campaign. It's about hope, prosperity for everyone, and the belief in the principles of America that we all value. Everything we love about America. We are not a failing nation. We are amazing. Let's go. Dude, the crowd is roaring.
Okay. Something wonderfully magical is in the air, isn't it? Yeah.
I agree. Let's go.
You know, we're feeling it here in this arena, but it's spreading all across this country we love. A familiar feeling that's been buried too deep for far too long.
Yeah, it's the sound of Trump getting his ass kicked, bro.
It's the contagious power of hope. Hope is making a comeback.
Let's go.
See, my mom, in her steady, quiet way, lived out that striving sense of hope every single day of her life. They understood that it wasn't enough for their kids to thrive if everyone else around us was drowning.
That's really a big point right there.
My mother volunteered
it's
at
where
the local
a sense of
school.
community comes from, you know?
Looked out for the other kids on the block.
Realizing that
she was glad to do the thankless, unglamorous
if
work
we're doing great
for generations
and everybody around you is fucking doing horribly, you're not doing well.
It's why she taught Kamala about justice, about the obligation to lift others up, about our responsibility to give more than we take. She'd often tell her daughter,
it's so interesting hearing this because
do something.
Every single one of the things she's talking about is like
with that voice
from leading from a place of caring and compassion and like worldliness.
School, graduating
and
from an HBCU.
Trump couldn't be further from all of that.
At a state school.
You know what I mean?
And then she went on to work for the people.
There's nothing about him that fosters a sense of community. I mean, not even with his fan base. It's all about him. Everything is about him.
Decent health care, child care, elder care. From a middle-class household, Kamala worked her way up to become Vice President of the United States of America. My girl,
historic.
Kamala Harris is more than ready for this moment. She is one of the most qualified people ever to seek the office of the presidency.
No doubt. I agree with that, dude.
We don't expect there to be an escalator waiting to take us to the top. No. We put our heads down.
Let's go.
We get to work. In America, we do something. And throughout her entire life, that's what we've seen from Kamala Harris.
Yeah, she's pretty amazing.
The steel of her spine, the steadiness of her upbringing, the honesty of her example, and yes, the joy of her laughter and her light. It couldn't be more obvious. Of the two major candidates in this race, only Kamala Harris truly understands the unseen labor and unwavering commitment that has always made America great. Now, unfortunately, we know what comes next. We know folks are going to do everything they can to distort her truth.
Yeah, they are. Dude, they've already started
I
it.
sadly know
They've,
something
like,
about this.
trying to say that she, like, sexed her way to the top, or
Donald Trump did everything in his power to try to make people fear us.
Using that dog whistle, that low IQ, anti-black dog whistle.
Made him feel threatened by the existence of two hard-working, highly educated, successful people who happen
to be black. That's right. Donald Trump can't stand black people. And he also hates women, which makes Kamala Harris like doubly kryptonite to that piece of shit. Let's go.
I want to know.
Let's go.
I want to know. Who's going to tell him that the job he's currently seeking might just be one of those black jobs?
Oh, she just leveled him.
It's his same old con.
Yeah, it is.
His same old con.
Dude, he's a one-trick pony.
Down on ugly, misogynistic, racist lies as a substitute for real ideas and solutions that will actually make people's lives better. And let me tell you this, going small is never the answer. Going small is the opposite of what we teach our kids. Going small is petty, it's unhealthy, and quite frankly, it's unpresidential.
Yes.
So, why would any of us accept this from anyone seeking our highest office? Why would we normalize that type of backward leadership?
Dude, yeah, just what she's saying, backward leadership. She's calling it all out.
It only serves to further discourage good, big-hearted people from wanting to get involved at all.
Yeah.
America.
Because he reduces
our parents taught us better than that.
To, like, you know what I mean?
We deserve so
Think
much
about it. He's hanging out with Aiden Ross and shit. He's like reducing the political climate to a nasty middle school level shit-a-thon, bro.
There is no other choice than Kamala Harris
exhausting.
and Tim Walz.
His negativity is exhausting. His, you know what I mean? World War III, third world country, failing nation. You can't go buy bread without getting raped and pillaged. And
as
dude,
we
guys,
embrace this renewed sense of hope,
just a
let
toilet,
us not forget
bro.
the despair we have felt. Let us not forget what we are up against.
Yeah.
Yes, Kamala and Tim are doing great now. We're loving it. They're packing arenas across the country. Folks are energized. We are feeling good.
But dude, they just chip away though their negativity.
There are still so many people who are desperate for a different outcome, who are ready to question and criticize every move Kamala makes, who are eager
and they won't
to
question
those lies,
anything Trump does,
who don't want to vote for a woman, who will continue to prioritize building their wealth over ensuring that everyone has enough.
That's a big one.
So no matter how good we feel,
that's the problem with a lot of white voters, frankly.
This is going to be an uphill
They end
battle.
up voting for toxic people like Trump just to protect white wealth because they don't want to build up the lower classes. They don't.
They
see it as a threat to their slice of the pie.
The minute a lie takes hold, folks, we cannot start wringing our hands.
No, we got to fight.
We cannot get a Goldilocks complex about whether everything is just right.
No. Got to fight.
And we cannot indulge our anxieties about whether this country will elect someone like Kamala instead of doing everything we can to get someone like Kamala elected.
Let's go.
Kamala and Tim, they have lived amazing lives. And I am confident that they will lead with compassion, inclusion, and grace. But they are still only human. They are not perfect. And like all of us, they will make mistakes. But luckily, y'all, this is not just on them. No, this is up to us, all of us, to be the solution that we seek. It's up to all of us to be the antidote to the darkness and division. Look, I don't care how you identify politically, whether you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, or none of the above. This is our time to stand up for what we know in our hearts is right.
Let's go. They are.
To stand up, not just for our basic freedoms, but for decency and humanity.
And some positivity.
Respect,
right?
Dignity, and empathy.
Some inspiration for the future.
At the very foundation of
this constant onslaught on
It's up to us to remember
America.
What Kamala's mother told her. Don't just sit around and complain. Do something. So, if they lie about her, and they will, we've got to do something. If we see a bad poll, and we will, we got to put down that phone and do something. If we start feeling tired, if we start feeling that dread creeping back in, we got to pick ourselves up, throw water on our face, and what? We only have 2.5 months,
Dude,
y'all.
it's like 70 days, bro.
Done.
How many days?
Only 11 weeks to make sure every single person we know
77
is
days
registered and has a voting plan.
It's gonna get ugly too.
So
the misinformation, Elon, all these rich bitches.
Anyone America to sit on their hands and wait to be called. Don't complain if no one from the campaign has specifically reached out to you.
It's gonna be a good time for me to.
There is simply
put the website
no
in there
for that kind of foolishness. You know what you need to do.
There it is. Go to the website. Sign up.
Consider this to be
phone bank.
Your official ask. Michelle Obama is asking you, no, I'm telling y'all to do something.
Telling you, dude, it's like when you think about it, the specter of Trump and the negativity and the chipping away at like our belief and our will, that negativity wears you down. You can do something. You can make a donation, put up a sign, talk to some family, talk to some friends. Close. Phone bank, just
in some states,
everybody should pitch in.
A handful of votes in every precinct could
decide
what I mean? The winner.
And you feel good about it too. You'll know that you're part of the. You're putting your energy into that.
We need to overwhelm.
You're not just worrying about whether we win or lose. You're putting yourself into it.
Our fate is in our hands.
It helps, man.
77 days. We have the power to turn our country away from the fear, division, and smallness of the past.
Yeah, baby.
We have the power to marry our hope with our action.
It starts with action, man.
We have the power to pay forward the love, sweat, and sacrifice of our mothers and fathers and all those who came before us. We did it before, y'all, and we sure can do it again. Let us work like our lives depend on it.
Because they do.
And let us keep moving our country forward and go higher. Yes, always higher than we've ever gone before as we elect the next president and vice president of the United States, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Thank you all. God bless.
Let's go. Thank you. Yeah, dude, there's something to be said about that energy, guys.
But it is now my honor to introduce somebody who knows a whole lot about hope. Someone who has spent his life strengthening our democracy. And let me tell you, as someone who lives with him, he wakes up every day, and thinks about what's best for this country. Please welcome America's 44th president and the love of my life, Barack Obama.
Oh, that was moving. Dude, you're not going after see Trump and Melania, dude, I got tears in my eyes.
Chicago!
Dude, they're going to go
It's good to be home.
for a couple minutes.
It is good to be home, and I don't know about you, but I'm feeling fired up.
Yeah, man. Me too. Dude, there's some energy, bro.
I am feeling ready to go. For all the incredible energy we've been able to generate over the last few weeks, for all the rallies and the memes, this will still be a tight race in a closely divided country. A country where too many Americans are still struggling. Where a lot of Americans don't believe government can help. And as we gather here tonight, the people who will decide this election are asking a very simple question. Who will fight for me? Who's thinking about my future, about my children's future, about our future together?
Yeah, who even considers us to begin with?
One thing is for certain, Donald Trump is not losing sleep over that question.
Dude, no, he's not. Dude, he thinks you're getting raped when you go walk to get a loaf of bread.
Who has not stopped whining about his problems since he rode down his golden escalator 9 years ago. It has been a constant stream of gripes and grievances.
Dude.
That's actually been getting worse now that he's afraid of losing to Kamala.
Dude, he's been mentally breaking down.
There's the childish nicknames, the crazy conspiracy theories, this weird obsession with crowd sizes.
That was good.
It just goes on.
That was nice.
And on. The truth is, Donald Trump sees power as nothing more than it means to his ends. He wants the middle class to pay the price for another huge tax cut that would mostly help him and his rich friends. He killed a bipartisan immigration deal written in part by one of the most conservative Republicans in Congress that would have helped secure our southern border because he thought trying to actually solve the problem would hurt his campaign.
That's brutal when you think about it. He's trying to do the same shit with Gaza, right?
Do not boo. Vote.
Oh, shit, bro. Do not boo. Vote. Let's go. There we go. Those are some strong words.
He doesn't seem to care if more women lose their reproductive freedom since it won't affect his life. And most of all, Donald Trump wants us to think that this country is hopelessly divided.
Yeah.
Between us and them.
That's what he wants.
Between the real Americans, who of course support him, and the outsiders who don't. And he wants you to think that you'll be richer and safer if you will just give him the power to put those other people back in their place. It is one of the oldest tricks in politics from a guy whose act has, let's face it, gotten pretty stale. We do not need 4 more years of bluster and bumbling and chaos.
Dude, can you imagine?
We have seen that movie before, and we all know that the sequel is usually worse.
Yeah. Dude, can you just imagine another 4 years of him being chaotic?
America's ready for a new chapter.
And just doing stupid shit day after day.
A better story.
Like it was so exhausting.
We are ready for a president, Kamala Harris.
Let's go! Let's go. That's Barack Hussein Obama, in case you were wondering, people.
Is ready for the job. As vice president, she helped take on the drug companies to cap the cost of insulin, lower the cost of health care, give families with kids a tax cut. And she is running for president with real plans to lower costs even more and protect Medicare and Medicaid and sign a law to guarantee every woman's right to make her own health care decisions.
It's important. It is inspirational, man. It is. We need messages of hope like this, guys.
Kamala Harris won't be focused on her problems.
Should be focused
She'll be focused on yours.
On our problems. Right? And
as president,
we can get focused on our problems too.
To her own supporters and punish those who refuse to kiss the ring or bend the knee. She'll work on behalf of every American.
He uses his voice crack in a good way.
And in the White House,
he's a good orator for sure.
An outstanding partner in Governor Tim Walz.
Well, let's go. Dude, I feel like Tim and Kamala really work well together because Tim is just so goofy and warm and gentle appearing.
I love this guy.
But he can be sassy, and she's like strategic,
Tim is the kind
calculating.
of person who should be in politics.
Timmy.
Born in a small town, served his country, taught kids, coached
he was a good pick.
Took care of his neighbors.
He's a really genuine guy.
He knows who he is.
Yeah.
And he knows what's important.
Super genuine guy.
You can tell those flannel shirts he wears don't come from some political consultant. They come from his closet. And they have been through some stuff. They have been through some stuff. That's right. The other side knows it's easier to play on people's fears and cynicism. Always has been.
Yeah.
They will tell you that
that's what they do, man.
Government is inherently corrupt.
Trump is like a vampire.
And generosity are for suckers.
Just tries to infect you with this negativity, wear you down.
Since the game is rigged, it's okay to take what you want and just look after your own. That's the easy path. We have a different task. Our job is to convince people that democracy can actually deliver. If a parent or grandparent occasionally says something that makes us cringe, we don't automatically assume they're bad people.
Right.
We recognize that the world is moving fast, that they need time and maybe a little encouragement to catch up. Our fellow citizens deserve the same grace we hope they'll extend to us.
That's fair. I'm not always good about that. I tell people to f*** off and block them.
That's how we can build a true democratic majority.
All right. I can be a little.
No society has ever tried to build a democracy as big and as diverse as ours before. One that includes people that over decades have come from every corner of the globe.
It's hard because Trump has lowered the standard of political discourse and interaction.
Or blood,
right?
But by a common creed.
So when you're dealing with somebody that's like lowbrow,
the world's a
it's hard to sit there and have a reasoned discussion with them. It is.
The world's a little dimmer.
It's challenging.
We can't eradicate every cruelty and injustice in the world.
We can't.
But America can be and must be a force for good. Discouraging conflict, fighting disease, promoting human rights, protecting the planet from climate change, defending freedom.
Dude, we got to be sensible about
what Kamala Harris believes, and so do most
Americans. Our energy and our decisions with the climate. I mean, how we interact with our physical world is really important. And we really set the tone, I feel like, for the whole world on that. Can be the driving force, you know? You know what I mean? People feel overwhelmed by it. They want to just tune it out.
I know these ideas can feel pretty naive right now. We live in a time of such confusion and rancor.
Yeah. It's kind of fed a lot by Trumpism.
That puts a premium on things that don't last.
Yeah, that's another problem.
Money, fame,
virality.
status,
Yeah.
likes.
Yeah. It's a real
We chase
problem.
the approval of strangers on our phones.
You've seen that, like, political figures have
build
become
all
like
manner of
reality
walls and
TV
fences
stars
around ourselves,
slash
and then we wonder
influencers in a way.
why we feel so alone.
They're just trolling and looking for virality and
We don't
fame.
trust each other as much because we don't take the time to know each other. Politicians and algorithms teach us to caricature each other
Let's go,
Yeah.
boss.
and troll each other.
See, and I don't even know if
fear
it's
each
all
other.
Trump's fault, because a lot of it has to do with social media and the algorithms,
But
and
here's the good news, Chicago.
that
All across America,
Trump is just very
in big
good at that.
cities and small towns,
He is good at that
away
fake
from all the noise.
noise making, chaos making.
The ties that
That's
bind us
his
together are
style.
still there.
His style is very fed by
We
that
still
algorithmic
coach Little League
vibe.
and look out for our elderly
But
neighbors.
the antidote
We
for it
still
is to
feed the hungry in churches and mosques and synagogues
To
and temples.
watch your own
We share
personal
the same
integrity
pride when
online,
our Olympic
right?
athletes
And
compete
interact
for the
with
gold.
people IRL where you
Because-
can. Get out in the real world.
Because the vast majority of us do not want to live in a country that's bitter and divided.
Yeah.
We want something better. We want to be better. And the joy and the excitement that we're seeing around this campaign tells us we're not alone.
It's just hard.
People like Tim's parents,
Right.
who taught
Because
him about
I
the
agree
importance of
with
service.
everything Obama is saying. And
Good, hard work.
Trump has sort of reduced
weren't
the
famous
discourse
or
in a way
powerful,
to where that
but who
bullying
managed in
is like
countless ways
the norm
lead
now.
this country
Right?
just a little bit better than they found it.
It's like super complicated because you can't
As
really.
much as any policy or program,
We
I
need to
believe that's what we yearn for.
we need to consistently be standing up to the
An
man.
America where we work
And the
together
press have really been
and
failing
look
at
out
that.
for each other.
Right?
A restoration of what
I feel like if
Lincoln
we win
called
this election
on the eve of civil
and we
war,
just cut Trumpism off at the pass,
our bonds of affection.
we can rebuild. You know what I'm saying?
An
We can
America that
rebuild.
taps
'Cause
what
there's-
he called the better angels of our nature.
There's nobody in Trump world that they're going to rally
That is
behind
what this
like
elect-
Donald Trump.
And I believe
you know what I mean?
that's why if we each do our
Trumpism
part
without
over the next
Trump
77
is like
days,
Marjorie Taylor
if we
Greene.
knock on doors, if we make phone calls,
This is what he's
if
talking
we talk
about.
to our friends,
You got to do
if
the
we
work,
listen
man.
to our neighbors,
We really need to do the work.
if we work like we've never worked before,
We need to do the work.